Welcome to your Weld County School District 6 Board of Education meeting. It's Monday, November 9th, 2015. This meeting will now come to order. Will you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, Ms. Brand.
Mr. DeWitt?
Present.
Mr. Hafele?
Present.
Mr. Hall?
Present.
Mr. Lydiak?
Present.
Dr. Richard?
Present.
Mrs. Solis?
Present.
6 members are present.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is Board of Education President announcements, and I'll keep this very brief. First of all, I'd like to read a statement from Mr. Richardson, who is unable to be here because of a work obligation, and he agreed that he would like to have a statement read, and I am the person to read that statement. Mr. Richardson has served for 4 years on the board, and these are his comments. I'm grateful for the opportunity to have served as a member of the Board of Education for the past 4 years. I'm grateful to have met and worked with many talented and wonderful people in our district. Our district has great students, super teachers, and a support staff that's excellent. Leadership, including the Board of Education and Superintendent, is also excellent. Congratulations to the newly elected board member, and my best wishes moving forward. Sincerely, Logan Richardson. I know he's disappointed not to be here this evening, but he sends that greeting. Also, certainly want to thank the voters who participated in our election, and I certainly have to thank the 4 people who ran for the 3 positions. This is a suggestion of an interest in our district and a willingness to commit significant effort for a board member, and the board member-elect in the room tonight has been warned that it's her last moment to not agree to do this. So we'll stay tuned, and we'll find out how that turns out. The next item on this agenda is the hearing from persons desiring to speak before the Board of Education. Have we anyone interested in speaking to us?
We do not.
All right. How about, can we borrow a little bit of information from our superintendent for the superintendent report? Dr. Pilch?
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt, and I'll keep it brief. I too want to thank Mr. Richardson for his time, his commitment, his dedication, and certainly his support of me in transitioning to the district, and I have appreciated working with him, and I'm sorry to see him go, and I'm very happy to welcome back Dr. Richard and Mr. Lydiak on our Board of Education, and glad to have them here at the board table with us again. And we will swear in this evening Terry Pappas, our new board member, and glad to have her joining us as well. And so tonight on the consent agenda, you see a contract with Zero Dropouts, which is an organization that I worked extensively with in my former district, and as a result of that work, we more than doubled our graduation rate and more than doubled our improvement in our dropout rates, and took our graduation rate up over 90% in the district in the last 5 years. When we began that work, we had over 300 dropouts in the school district annually, and when I left the district the last year of our work, we were down to under 70 dropouts in the district. So this is work that I've seen have tremendous results for students and really help push students forward. The work will begin at Northridge High School as soon as this contract is approved. We have the position posted right now, and Mr. Dubbo with Zero Dropouts will hire that position. And in will come the interventionist at Northridge High School, and he or she will begin working almost immediately with students who are failing 1 or 2 courses right now in the 9th grade, and begin to work with those students to assist them in passing those courses right now this semester, so that they don't enter into 10th grade next year with Fs on their transcript. So I am very excited about the startup of this work, and look forward to beginning this work with Zero Dropouts. And then finally, I will just say that we have the CASB, the Colorado Association of School Boards Conference coming up. And I know that several of you plan to be involved in that, but we are presenting. We were selected to present at the conference on Friday afternoon, and we will be presenting on the superintendent hiring process. So some of you and our communications director will talk about that process and how you designed that process for the selection of your superintendent, and then I'll have an opportunity to share how it felt to be the candidate. And then finally, the superintendent of schools who is to serve District 6. So we're looking forward to that. That's all I have tonight, Mr. DeWitt.
Great. Thank you very much. The next item is the approval of the agenda. Be glad to entertain a motion at this time.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? Roll call, Ms. Brand?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 6-0.
Thank you. The next item is the approval of the consent agenda. This is located on page 5. If you'd like to enter a motion at this time.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 approve items as presented on the consent agenda and authorize the officers to sign any and all contracts.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded. Is there discussion on consent agenda items? Hearing no interest in discussion, roll call, Ms. Brand?
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Haefele?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 6-0.
Gosh, at this time, we have the administration of the oath of office. Dr. Pilch, you're prepared to introduce us to a guest?
I'd love to. Thank you. We have the honor of having with us this evening Chief Judge Hartman, and we're pleased to have him come forward to begin to administer the oath of office to our newly elected board members. Welcome, Chief Judge.
Thank you, Dr. Pilch. Mr. Lydiak, if you'll please step forward. You'll stand right here for me, please. Please raise your right hand. Please repeat after me. I, Doug Lydiak,
I, Doug Lydiak,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of school director
of school director
as required by law,
as required by law,
and will support the Constitution of the United States,
and will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
If you'll sign this for me, please. Right there.
Do I need to sign both copies? Or that's
Just-
another, oh, just this is
Yes,
mine. Gotcha.
perfect. Thank you. Terry Pappas. If you'll stand right there, please, Ms. Pappas. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Terry Pappas,
I, Terry Pappas,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of school director
of school director
as required by law,
as required by law,
and will support the Constitution of the United States,
and will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
If you sign right here for me, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Dr. Richard?
You have a desk drawer.
You will raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I, Julia Richard,
I, Julia Richard,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully perform
that I will faithfully perform
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of School Director
of School Director
as required by law,
as required by law,
and will support the Constitution of the United States,
and will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
the Constitution of the State of Colorado,
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
and the laws made pursuant thereto.
Congratulations.
You're welcome. Ms. Ann, would you please stand for the picture? Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You already know the way. I know that. Okay. So, here is your newly seated board. Congratulations and welcome. The next item is
Thank
the
you.
election of officers.
Thank you, Chief Judge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As chair, I will call for nominations for each office, president and vice president. Nominations do not require a second. When there are no more nominations, I will call for a vote on each nominee in the order in which they were nominated. When a nominee receives a majority of votes, that nominee is declared the elected choice, and further voting for that office is not done. Voting for vice president and president will be by secret ballot. And at this point, we have some secret ballots in front of each of us, which we will be using. I will, after we have a name of a person or persons nominated, we will state the name of the person being considered for the office, and you will write aye or no, depending on your position for that one person running for board. If that person is not elected by a majority vote, the next person who is nominated will be dealt with in the order that they were identified. Are there questions? Actually, in class, I usually say, what questions are there? So I'm, trying to go that way. Well, we'll try this out. As president at this moment, I will oversee the election for president, and then if there's a different president here, that person will oversee the vice president. For treasurer and for secretary, I haven't heard any board member anxious to take over those duties, and so we might well suggest to one another that we have a couple of able individuals who are doing that job for us now, and we will probably acknowledge them in that way. So nominations are now in order for the office of president. Are there any nominations? Ms. Solis?
I nominate Roger DeWitt for president.
Are there other nominations? I think it would still be to the benefit of the board to have a secret vote for this, if you don't mind. So it would be Roger DeWitt, aye or no. I'll be the only one with the red ink.
Go to Bernie or who?
Bernie will collect them. I think individually. One vote per person, please. Thank you.
Can I just register my objection to doing a secret ballot?
You're free to. It's part of our policy. Can be by secret ballot or by voice vote. You should have music playing.
There are 7 ayes, and so the nomination carries.
All right. I'll continue then for the nominations for vice president. Nominations, please. Mr. Havley?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Hall, please.
Dr. Richard?
I'm going to nominate myself.
I see two names at this time. Very well. At this time,
Do we have an opportunity for both of us to say a few words about what we...
there's nothing to restrict us from doing so. Would you like to go ahead and start?
Sure. I've been thinking about offering an opportunity to help the board by running for the vice presidency, and I think I bring a couple things to it. One is a set of organizational skills that people who know me, I tend to be pretty organized. I'm pretty good at watching for the details, but keeping the big picture in mind. And I also know that I have the time to do this because with the nature of our family business, it's the sort that I can typically own my own schedule, and I have some flexibility in there. I also understand the role of the vice president. After being on the board for a number of years, I know what it means to be an individual board member, but I also understand the responsibilities of the executive team in helping that board as a whole, as a corporate body, be able to move forward. And I guess the third thing that I bring to this is, as we move forward and we lead into the future, I bring some of that past experience and that history of how did we get to here. And especially as we have a new superintendent who may not have that past history, and especially as we move forward on the strategic planning process, that's something that I've been involved with since 2012 and 13, some of that foundational work, that information may be exceptionally helpful at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Hall?
Well, I considered, I was interested, or am interested in becoming the vice president, to carry on the progress and innovation that we've accomplished. The one thing when this board was seated 2 years ago, one of the most important things was the change of culture that everyone agreed on. And we've been changing that culture, and we have experienced that. One of the things that I bring, I do bring a schedule that allows me to act and fulfill the duties of the office. But I also bring a creative thought process for as we go forward. We've got a good history of what has happened up to this point and a good knowledge of the foundation within D6. But moving forward, education is changing rapidly, and I think it's going to change even more rapidly from what we're hearing out of DC and out of the state office. And we've got to be innovative, and we've got to think. We've got to be able to think out of the box and bring those ideas forth to either enhance or to discuss or to just to ensure that we're on the right path. So one of the things that I do and do fairly well is that. So I wasn't really prepared to speak, but appreciate your support and look forward to moving forward.
Thanks, Mr. Hall. At this time, the first nominated was Mr. Hall, so we will vote for or against Mr. Hall by writing aye or no at this time on your voting card for Mr. Hall. Thank you.
There are 4 ayes and 3 noes.
So we're marking that as a majority vote for Mr. Hall, and the nominations are closed at this time. Mr. Hall, you're a new Vice President. Thank you, or commiserations. I'm not sure which path to go. The next component of this officer selection process includes the secretary and treasurer. And as I mentioned before, these are currently being held by individuals who are doing a wonderful job for us. And it might well be said that we could do no better than the people currently working on those positions. So I will ask at this time, shall Bernie Barea be elected secretary by voice vote? Aye or nay? Ayes?
Yeah, Steve.
Aye?
Aye.
Nay? Clever. All right. So, Bernie, I'm sorry you are continuing to be
Roger.
continuing to be that person.
I sit too close to it.
We are a judicious bunch. The next position is treasurer, and Megan Sponsler is currently keeping a cool hand on our resources. Ayes in favor of having Megan Sponsler continue in her position? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Nays? That's recorded as a selection for treasurer of Megan Sponsler. And may we acknowledge by acclamation that Ms. Bray would continue to be our recording secretary, since all the rest of us would be too busy getting confused and chasing shiny objects to do all that writing down. So thank you. By acclamation, aye.
Aye.
This comes with no additional salary, so thank you very much. And we thank those 2 individuals for taking on this obligation. At this time, we will be taking about a 5-minute recess, and that'll allow us to move some nameplates about, and we will return in approximately 5 minutes. Thank you very much.